Today, we'll be talking about effective marketing strategies for small businesses. This video is for you, whether you're a seasoned business owner or you already have your business running for a while, but you are maybe a little bit stuck in your growth or you want to go back to the basics. And this is also designed for people who just curious about marketing. Maybe they're starting their companies and they want to learn what marketing is all about. Why am I qualified to speak about this? I had a long marketing career, about 25 years in the corporate world. So I did that for a while. And since 2016, I've been coaching small businesses to grow in a more intelligent way. So let's talk about what is marketing. There's lots of different definitions out there. People can get quite sophisticated about certain things, but really, marketing is telling the world about who you are, what you sell, what you stand for, and how you're different from the rest of the companies within the same category. So that, in a nutshell, is marketing. Now, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the myths of marketing. And this is really why I decided to make this video, because I do get asked lots of questions. I work around this a lot. And there seem to be a lot of misconceptions about marketing and a lot of misinformation. So I'm going to give you my authentic, raw view as a marketing expert about sort of what the myths of marketing that I have seen are. So one of the biggest myths is that there is a magic bullet. And I can see why this has sort of become something that people believe in. So people think that marketing is going to come in, that there's this one strategy that is going to work and it's going to unlock everything in their business. It's going to help them grow. And I am sorry to tell you, but if this was true, everybody would be a millionaire and would have tons of clients. It is really not that simple, especially now that our world is so much more complex. So there is no magic bullet. So whoever tells you, and these are usually people who are studying marketing services, whoever tells you there's this one thing that you will do and it will change everything, please take that with a pinch of salt. Be very critical about that, because that's not exactly how marketing works. The other myth or misconception is that one size fits all. That is also not true. I had the privilege of working with lots of successful and some unsuccessful companies in my career, and I saw that everybody, even within the companies that were successful, within the same industry, the same space, even the same country, I have worked across countries, but even the same country, use sometimes radically different approaches to grow their business. And they were both successful, but they did it differently. So there is an exercise of finding out what actually works for your business. The third myth is that it's fast. People think we'll bring marketing in and all of our problems will be solved and we'll get a million clients and everything will be peachy. And that is simply not true. I'm sorry to tell you that. So if you're thinking I hired somebody in marketing, I have a marketing assistant now, that type of thing, that's just not how it works. It takes time. It takes time to build a brand. It takes time for you to take space in your consumers' minds. It takes time for people to get to know you. It takes time for you to have success stories. So no, this is not going to be, probably it's not going to be fast, but there is a way you can do it more intelligently and often faster. So that is the focus of this video. And then the last myth is that it can work without sales. Not true. If you just had just marketing, telling the world what you do, but you don't have sales engaged, whether you're a small organization or a little bit bigger, maybe you are the same person who's doing sales and marketing, and that's okay. But those two efforts need to work together. In my career, I was faced with so many situations where leadership didn't often understand that marketing and sales have to work together, because the situation that you get into is that, and this is also a little bit for bigger organizations, is that there is an expectation that marketing will bring in all of the business and that salespeople will be basically sort of paperwork fillers. They will just fill in the paperwork, take the orders, and then the business will grow. But it's often not that way, because they're two completely different skill sets. So what needs to happen is that sales and marketing need to work very closely together. They need to be engaged in the process together. They need to help each other and cooperate for marketing to work properly and for sales to work properly. So those are the myths that I have seen sort of around marketing. Now, let's talk about sort of the fundamentals. So in terms of the fundamentals, your brand is probably the first thing you want to look at. Now, again, lots of definitions for brand. People sometimes make it quite complicated, but brand is basically all of the set things that you do to tell people who you are, what you do, and how you're different. And one of the most beautiful definitions that I've heard of brand, and I don't remember where I saw it, this was many, many years ago, it might have been in a book, is what people feel and think when they see anything related to your company. And let me repeat that. So, what a person thinks or feels whenever they have an interaction with your company. And it could be a face-to-face interaction, could be talking to your people, to your employees. It could be an email that they're getting. It could be your website. It's how they think and feel when they interact with you. So I really love that about brand. And the first step is designing what your brand is going to be like. What are you going to stand for? How are you going to differentiate yourself? How are you going to position yourself as something different within the market and then work within that? And that has to permeate every single aspect of your business. So Starbucks is a pretty good example. I think it's that experience that you get. Whenever I think about brand, I think about Starbucks. Like it's this experience that you get when you walk in there, and there's so many little elements that make up that experience. So it's the cups that are placed in the wall, or all the merchandise that they sell, or the stuff what the baristas are wearing. Like there is an expected experience that you have when you walk into one of the stores. So it's all of those little elements that add up to this experience and this feeling that you get when you walk in. So everything in your business must be aligned to that. Finally, you need to have a persona or an avatar. You cannot be all things to all people. And let me tell you, I made a big, even within 25 years in corporate marketing, when I started my business, I made a big mistake because I didn't really drink my own champagne. I didn't really define my persona very well at the start. So I wanted to be all things to all people because I thought I would miss out if I didn't do that. And there's this idea that we have that if we are not kind of marketing to absolutely everyone, we're going to miss out on business. That is simply not true, because what we're trying to do is get to the people that are our potential buyers, and not everybody is our potential buyer. There's very few products in the world that actually have the whole world as a potential buyer. So really work on the persona or the avatar. That's another word that is used for whoever you want to serve. So who is it that you want to serve? What are their demographic and psychographic characteristics? So those are just fancy words for all of the practical characteristics that that person has and all of the more soft characteristics. So practical would be, so your demographics would be, where do they live? Geographically where they are, what is their age group, what type of business they're in, if it's business to business. So it's all of those practical things. And then the psychographics is more like, what is that person like? What do they care about? What are their values in business? That type of thing. So you really need to define who you're serving. And I would advise that you start with the people that you love working with the most. So it would be, like pick your favorite clients. If you already have a client base, usually pick your favorite client and then build your persona around that, because those are probably the people that you're going to be very happy to serve in your small company, and the people who are probably going to be the most, the greatest target for what you sell. So that's in terms of your avatar. So have those fundamentals ready. And what I would advise at the start, or if you're a small business, don't get too complicated with this. I mean, you can hire somebody to help you, yes, but you don't need to get too complicated with this. Just go back to basics. Just put a one-pager together. That's what I did. And just try to put that across all of the different materials that come through. Strategies for small business. So now we're getting to the meat of the subject. I guess what a lot of people wanted to hear. So what are the strategies? So as within sort of how I see things, my understanding of the truth at this moment, which I like to say within my coaching, is that what I have actually seen is that the most prominent, successful, popular way to get clients is still word of mouth. We're still human beings. Human beings want to buy what other human beings recommend. There's just something about that hasn't changed in years. So the majority of successful small business owners will tell you that the majority of their business will come from referrals or from their low hanging fruit. So I always recommend, or most of the time, I recommend that people start from there. What is your lowest hanging fruit? Because I'm also all about, so my company position is about growing intelligently. So how do you do this intelligently? You go to your lowest hanging fruit first, right? So who are the lowest hanging fruit? They're your current clients. We often forget that current clients are actually a source of new business. So go to your current clients, the ones that are happy with your work, and hopefully that's everybody, and ask them for a referral. So, such and such, you've gotten some really great results from us working together. Do you know anybody like yourself who's facing the same problem who I could perhaps have a conversation with? That type of thing. Because also, if you don't ask for referrals, people will often not remember. So you think if people are satisfied, they will remember to refer you. And that happens sometimes. But remember, everybody's super busy. So it's hard for them to do that. So lowest hanging fruit are your current clients. They're anybody who is a fan of your product, who's, what do you call them? So fans within your evangelists, within your current clients are also a really good source of new business. If somebody really loves your product, could be really good, or your service. Um, People in your email list. So chances are, if you've been around for a while, you've been building some sort of email list in some shape, way or form. So use those people who are there. People who are engaging with you on social media, who are engaging with your content also might be good low-hanging fruit. And people that you know within your network. Those might be really, really great. And we often don't think about that. We first go outside, people who don't know us at all. But imagine these are the people who have already had an interaction with you and know you from some sort of way. So you're already 80% of the way there because they already know who you are. So lowest hanging fruit first, and then go to all of the other strategies. Now, I could make an hour and a half video about all of the other strategies that are out there because there's tons, but this is what I will tell you. Find out where your customers are hanging out. So for example, business to business, if your small business is selling to other businesses, most business people are hanging out on LinkedIn in terms of social media. That's where they take and consume their business content. They might have Instagram, Facebook. I'm thinking, what's the other one? Other social media platforms, and sorry, it's Snapchat and all this different, and TikTok, yes. And it all depends on their age, because there is an age correlation to which type of social media platform they use. But for example, if you're business to business, that's where people will be hanging out. They might have all these other things, but they're going there for their entertainment. They're not going to go there to get their business stuff. Now, I don't know if that's changing a lot now. This is just my own personal opinion. People might tell you otherwise because they have grown a business on TikTok. I have no idea. So find out where your customers are hanging out. Have a really clear message about who you are, what you do, and that type of thing. And then SEO is hugely powerful. People are still looking for things on websites, whether we believe to or not. Like, what is the first thing you do when you don't have like, I was looking for a cobbler the other day, like a shoe cobbler, because my husband's shoes broke and I want to see if they could be fixed. Story for another day. But I never had to fix anything in a cobbler around my area, and I've been here for 3 years. So what did I do? I went into Google. I'm like, Google, what's the closest cobbler to me? And people still do that if they don't have somebody else to ask. So I could have asked my neighbors, I guess, and I might still will, but um, but people are still looking there. So maybe investing in SEO might be useful. However, it does take time. The algorithms are changing all the time. So, something to just keep in mind, the algorithms are changing all the time. So SEO would be probably another thing that I would recommend. But look at what things are working within your industry and try them out. So some parting words, I think, in terms of my observations. So one of them is fail. You will fail in marketing. There's no doubt about that. I've seen a lot of that. So fail and fail fast, fail cheaply. There is this tendency to think that the more money you put into something, the more it will work. And I remember at the start of my business, I spent so much money on events, on LinkedIn experts, on what else did I do? I did so many different things on coaching directories, like all of these different things. And none of that worked for me. I kept banging my head against the wall. That's the other thing too. Biggest piece of advice, biggest learning for me. If it's not working, if it's been 3 or 4 months and you've already done all the tweaks and everything, it's not working, let it go. I I tried to get business from LinkedIn for like forever and a day, and I just kept banging. I lost like a year of my business doing that, and I spent so much money doing that. So fail fast, test. There's no other way to grow within business. Just test what you think and what you see that is going to work. Try to grow your brand, get those parts right. Seek help when you don't know, having somebody to help you do this and implement it. And by the way, I'm going to clarify that I no longer do marketing consulting or marketing implementation at all. And I'm only saying this because I have a lot of people who ask me these questions. So while I keep my finger in the pulse because I work with clients and I'm always informed on all of these different things, I do not do that right now, but find somebody who you trust, who's going to be able to help you with this, because a lot of these strategies and tactics, if you do them well, they will take time, they will take effort. So find somebody who can help you. So I'm hoping you got some value from this video. If you didn't know anything about marketing that you do, again, it's only my own version of the truth and what I have seen as an expert in marketing for so many years. Hope you found it helpful and valuable, and I will see you on the next content or video.